the hardest thing is just coming home from a day of work and making dinner.
Planning dinner, that's the big one.
The hardest thing about eating healthy is the junk food.
Especially the propagandas on TV, they suggest some of the kind of food.
It's hard to eat fruits and vegetables because some of them I don't like.
It's difficult for me, just trying to manage a household, manage work, and manage a child.
Does that sound familiar? Eating tasty food is one of life's most enjoyable experiences, but all the planning and shopping and cooking of healthy foods can seem overwhelming at times.
I think it's a combination of time and creativity.
And if you add a teen to the mix,
it's a lot more difficult to control. They have money, she works, she has change in her pocket, she can stop and get things.
Well, the whole business can seem downright impossible, right?
You feel like, okay, I don't feel like cooking this week, and it's like, okay, I give in. We're gonna go to McDonald's.
Well, I have some good news. My name is Natalie Webb. I'm a nutritionist and a registered dietitian. My message is simple. Healthy foods can be fun, easy, and personal. Now, what we all want is food that tastes good, is quick and easy to prepare, nutritious and economical. But can we get everything we want? Absolutely.
Natalie, come on in. Did you have any problems with the directions?
Clarice is a single mom who lives with her daughter Alexis and other family members.
Alexis here. Alexis, a nutritionist is here.
They know the importance of eating healthy, but they want to make it a part of their daily lives. I'm going to give them some of my best tips for getting more of what they want without having to make big changes in who they are. One of the most important things is to have a plan. So we need to get our menus together for about a week.
Okay, now I usually like to do a few menus.
I like to say you can paint your own picture of a healthy life. Okay, and I have a great minestrone soup that you can do on the weekend. It's packed with a lot of great vegetables. When you plan your meals, you want to choose foods that make up a healthy diet. What we have to do is get a list together.
Hey Mom, I'm hungry.
Well, what do you want to eat?
How about a smoothie?
Okay, I think we have all the ingredients.
Okay, Natalie, would you like one?
Yeah, I'd love to have one, thanks.
Okay.
One way Alexis and her mom eat healthy and have fun is by making different kinds of smoothies. A great way to get extra calcium and fruit. All it takes to make a smoothie is fat-free or low-fat yogurt or milk, fruit, and ice. Put it all in the blender and blend until it's foamy. How easy is this? I like to make a batch ahead of time and pop them in the freezer for later.
Ooh, Natalie, we're gonna have a problem with Alexis and the peas.
So she's not a pea fan, huh?
No, not at all.
Okay, well we can make substitution. How about like corn or green beans?
Yes.
It's okay if your family doesn't love every nutritious food. The important thing is to keep trying. Even small healthy changes can add up to a big difference.
Here you go, guys.
Those look good.
Thank you. Okay, guys, do you like fried chicken?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Well, I have a great one that's oven baked instead of fried, so a lot less fat. And it uses corn flakes to make it nice and crispy. You want to try it?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see it.
Besides reminding us to mix new healthier foods with the ones we're used to buying, making a list saves us time and money. And when something unhealthy catches your eye, it's easy to walk right on by, if it's not on our list.
Cupcakes. Let's get cupcakes.
No, they're not on the list.
Yes, they are. See, cupcakes.
Not quite. We're going to make sure we're going to fill up our basket with some healthier food choices first. So it's a good thing that we had a snack before we came in here. We have a list to keep us on tack. With about 30,000 items in the average American supermarket, you're going to face a lot of tough choices. So use this simple battle plan. Armed with your list, start with the produce, move on to the canned goods and the grains, and finish with the frozen foods, dairy, and meat. All right, you guys, we're in my favorite section of the store. And the great thing about this soup is that it's packed with a variety of vegetables for us. So what's on our list that we need to make sure that we get?
Okay, we have green beans, we have broccoli, cabbage, and celery.
Well, the great thing is that all those things are in season, and when we look for foods that are in season, they're going to be lower in cost and they're going to have great flavor. Okay, so I'll get the cabbage. All right. If the fresh fruit or vegetable you're looking for isn't in season, try frozen or canned. And here is when you become a detective. Your mission finding healthy canned or packaged foods. Your clues? The information on the nutrition label.
Tomatoes. We
Okay.
need a pound of diced canned tomatoes.
Pound of diced canned tomatoes. There's lots of varieties here to choose from. One of the things you want to be careful about is the ones that are flavored. They often add sugar. And the one way to find that out is to look at the ingredient list. So you'll see that we have tomatoes, we have tomato juice, then we have high fructose corn syrup, another name for sugar. So it's going to be a way that it sneaks in a lot of calories. A lot of times, sugar and salt sneak into all kinds of canned foods. But just like everything else in the can, they leave clues on the nutrition label. So what do we look for? Check your servings. How many servings are you getting? And how much fat, sugar, and salt are in each serving? We want foods low in saturated fats, trans fats, and cholesterol, as well as foods that are low in sodium or salt. And we don't want to sugarcoat it. Look for foods and drinks low in added sugars. You can tell if a food is low in fats, sodium, and sugar by cluing into the percent of daily values column. 5% DV or less is low, 20% or more is high. Next, check the list of nutrients. Pay special attention for potassium, fiber, vitamins A and C, calcium, and iron. Foods with 20% or more DV of these healthy nutrients are a great choice for your family.
Okay, we need some kidney beans.
Kidney beans, okay. Got lots of options here. Here's some kidney beans right here for us. Kidney beans are a great source of fiber for us. It's a good source of protein. And we're going to have meatless meals like having minestrone soup. It has very similar nutrient content, just like if we had meat or fish or poultry. But there's a surprise in here for us. And let's take a look at the label and see what the surprise might be. When we look at the sodium, 360 milligrams of sodium. That's a lot.
High.
It is very high, and especially for people that are salt sensitive, we have the tendency to retain more water with that. It causes our blood pressure to go up, and we need to be careful about how much salt we have. So look at this one, there's no salt added. We turn it over, look at the sodium content, 10 milligrams.
Much better.
Much better. The same detective work kicks in when we get to the cereal aisle. And sometimes it's even more of a challenge because our choices can be even more confusing and tempting.
Okay, cornflakes for the chicken. Oh look, Mom, your favorite cereal. Marshmallow goodness in every bite.
We'll just stick with this.
But they're so colorful.
When it comes to cereal, there's a lot of options for us. And you know, when we look at cereal, they're going to be fortified with vitamins and minerals, just what we need. It's great as a breakfast. We know breakfast is an important meal for us to have, especially before you head on out to school. But also it's a great snack. But we want to be careful about how much sugar is added. But this is also a great place for us to get more fiber. So when we look at the boxes, we want to make sure that they have whole grains in there. But whole grains aren't the only clue. Some foods advertise whole grains and still don't have a lot of fiber. We also want to check the nutrition panel for at least 2.5 grams of fiber per serving. So when we look at fiber, 5 grams. This definitely will make the match. This is lightly sweetened. So for that sweet tooth, when you want a sweetened cereal, go for the lightly sweetened.
But there's no colors.
We can add strawberries. They'll be ready.
Cereal. I love eating cereal.
A bowl of cereal and a ham sandwich. Bacon and grits.
At school, because my bus gets there early, they have breakfast in the cafeteria.
They usually serve pancakes with sausages, French toast sticks.
I'm not probably as good as I should be, but I usually grab some fruit in the morning.
I take a large cappuccino with me to work, and then I maybe remember to take an orange or an apple, but more often I don't remember, and then I usually don't eat anything except maybe a few pieces of candy from the woman who has the office a couple doors down from me, and then I come home famished.
Hola chicos, vamos, buenos días. Buenos días, Sarita. Buenos días, nena. Hola, dormilona, arriba, vamos. Vamos, mami. Es hora de levantarnos.
Mornings are a crazy time for most families, with everyone getting ready for work and school. Helman and Andrea Gomez know that the key to a healthy start is a good breakfast, which they prepare for their 3 children every day.
Chicos, ¿desayuno está servido, por favor? Vamos rápido. Buenos días, adelante. Buenos días. Ok, bien. Aquí. A ver, os pongo esto aquí.
Breakfast doesn't have to be limited to eggs, cereal, or a muffin. Some days, Helman even bakes a fish and vegetables for breakfast. For those of us who don't have much time to cook, a peanut butter sandwich on whole wheat will do nicely, or even heat up a slice of last night's veggie pizza. There are so many fun ways of mixing up foods, substituting one for another, making a breakfast food for dinner or a dinner food for breakfast. Just don't get stuck. The point is to fuel up your kids' day with healthy food, whatever your choice.
Healthy eating to me is really important because since I do sports, it's really plays a dominant role.
Having a lot of whole grains.
I would say a variety of things, a little bit from each food group.
Eat your vegetables and fruit and don't eat on junk food that much.
Eat a lot of salads, a lot of vegetables.
Balance.
What's next on the list?
We have carrots. Carrots go in the minestrone soup.
Okay, great. We have carrots right here. A couple things I wanted to point out to you, that when it comes to frozen vegetables, they're just as nutritious as fresh.
You know, I thought I was cheating if I wasn't using fresh vegetables and I went and got something that was frozen.
Oh, absolutely not. It's a shortcut. And when they pick fresh vegetables right before they freeze them within a short period of time. Locks in the nutrients. So here's some peas, Alexis, your favorite.
Ew.
Shall I pick up a pack for the soup?
Oh, please, no.
Remember the parenting advice, pick your battles? It holds true for picky eaters. Considering our choices, why make an issue over peas or broccoli or meat?
Is there something else we could use?
We can substitute some corn instead.
Much better.
Frozen corn. Our goal is to provide healthy food that our family will enjoy. Next to the last stop, the dairy aisle.
We need some milk for the chicken.
Okay, that actually reminds me of something. This is one area that typically teen girls fall short, is that we don't get enough calcium-rich dairy foods. And it's not only important during our teen years, but it's also important for us as adult women. So how many do you think we actually need to have each day?
Maybe about 3.
You're right on the money. 3 every day. Do you get 3?
Probably not on like a daily basis.
She's lactose intolerant, so she doesn't drink a lot of milk.
If you're lactose intolerant, it doesn't mean you have to be dairy intolerant. It's actually a matter of degrees. You can drink lactose-free milk, or a less expensive alternative is lactase tablets or drops. You can have aged cheese like cheddar cheese, or you can have low-fat or fat-free yogurt. But we all need those 3 servings each day. They're really important for strong bones. After buying dairy products, we end our shopping trip at the fresh meats and poultry aisle. Why the last stop? Because we want those items to stay cold as long as possible. Also, be sure to always wrap meat, chicken, and fish in plastic and keep them separated from the rest of the items in your cart. Let's stop and talk about fish for a minute. Fish is so good for us, but it can seem confusing if you're not used to it. When you buy fish, check the flesh. It should be firm and shiny and spring back when you press it. Dull flesh may mean that the fish is old. Check the smell. Fish should smell fresh, not fishy. Fish may seem exotic and complicated, but preparing it is quick and easy, and it's delicious. Andrea is baking some cod, but you could use catfish, flounder, salmon, or any kind of fish fillet for this recipe. All she does is mix tomatoes, onions, cilantro, and lime juice. Pour it over the fish. And pop it in a 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. Yum, that looks great. Eating healthy doesn't have to be complicated. And it's a lot more about quality than quantity. In fact, you'd be surprised at the size of a healthy portion of rice compared to what many people think. A portion of rice or pasta is about ½ cup, which is equal to about the size of a computer mouse or 1/4 of your plate. A serving of fish or chicken should be about the size of a deck of cards. And a serving of vegetable is ½ cup, again about the size of a computer mouse. Having a few extra fruits and vegetables isn't such a bad thing, but you really want to pay attention to portion sizes with treats and sodas. Okay, Alexis, in your bag you selected some root beer.
Yep.
So let's take a look at the label and see how many calories it is and what's a serving.
100 calories per serving.
And the serving size
About
is?
8 fluid ounces.
Okay, pour in this glass how much you think about 8 ounces is.
Maybe about here.
Well, not quite. This is actually 8 ounces.
Oh wow, I missed it by quite a bit.
Yeah. And do you know how much sugar is in 8-ounce serving?
Maybe about 1 or 2 teaspoons.
A little bit more than that. Actually, it's about 7 teaspoons. And this is 7 teaspoons of sugar in this bag.
That's a lot of sugar.
Yes.
There are
lots of delicious alternatives to soda. We can combine 100% fruit juice with salsa. Add a flavoring to low-fat milk like chocolate or strawberry. Or even better, choose water.
Alexis, come over and help me with the cornflakes.
Hey, Mom.
After our shopping
Okay,
trip,
got a bag.
Clarice and Alexis get to work on their new chicken recipe.
But is it hot?
Cooking together is a great chance to bond and have fun. It's a pretty easy recipe. They just dip skinless chicken in low-fat milk and seasonings. Then they shake it with some crushed cornflakes and spices.
I think I can put 2 of these in there.
I've never had chicken with cornflakes before.
Okay, you're frosted. That's done. Okay.
While the chicken refrigerates, they make the minestrone soup, a yummy mix of vegetables, beans, and pasta. First, they saute onions and celery, and then they add the rest of the ingredients to the pot. Bring it to a boil.
It's boiling.
And then they let it simmer on its own for 45 minutes. It's a great recipe to make on the weekend and freeze for later in the week. After the chicken rests in the fridge for an hour, Clarice takes it out and pops it in the oven. That's it. No messy frying pans to clean and no unhealthy fats in your diet.
First the seed, then the grain. Thank you, God, for sun and rain. First the flour, then the bread. Thank you, God, that we are fed. Amen.
Amen. Cooking and eating with our families is more than just sharing a meal. We're sharing our lives with each other. Food creates a common ground in which to strengthen relationships and create memories.
It's not quite like Grandma's old-fashioned vegetable soup, but it comes close. I think it would be better with a few more peas in it. Oh!
We've talked a lot about healthy strategies when it comes to eating, But a healthy lifestyle is also about physical activity. Regular exercise, at least 30 minutes a day for adults and 60 minutes for children, is critical for our overall health and fitness. And it makes us feel good about our body, mind, and spirit. Studies show that when parents join their girls in exercise, everyone benefits.
I play soccer. I usually play basketball with my dad.
I jog and I play tennis. I play tennis weekly. She dances. I've been looking into, and I asked her if I went out and bought rollerblades so we could go rollerblade together, would she go with me? And the verdict is still out.
Shopping is exercise.
I run sometimes.
They say jumping is exercising, and I like doing double dutch.
Just playing outside with my brother and my siblings. Just going to the park.
I get on a treadmill. I was lifting weights.
I go to yoga. I take yoga classes.
My favorite form of exercise is dance.
Volleyball.
For exercise, I walk my dog.
I like to go to the park and just walk. Sometimes we do biking.
It doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. The key is to turn off the TV and the computer and get moving as often as you can. The important thing is to make exercise a regular part of your family routine.
So they can live longer, not like to have bad bones and not be strong all the time.
I just want to make sure everything's all right with my body. I don't want nothing wrong with me.
To prevent you from the body from getting a lot of diseases like diabetes, heart diseases.
All of us gain weight, so we decided to think it over again and try to start with a new menu.
And especially being, I think, African Americans also, high blood pressure is always an issue, so you want to make sure that you don't have the high salt content, because we're more prone to high blood pressure.
Probably because you probably live longer and you feel better about yourself and you feel better and you have more energy.
I don't want to be in danger for all those like health-related risks that comes with being that large, so knowing like that could happen. And when I was younger, like little, I was sort of large and like on the round side. It's like I don't want to go back to that.
Feeds your brain, makes you your ability to learn easier.
Gives you such good self-esteem, like it's a really big self-confidence booster just to eat healthy and stay fit.
So what are the main things to remember about creating a healthy lifestyle? Most important, it can be fun and easy, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Even a few small steps can lead to big positive changes. You can start with a plan, shop with a list, watch the nutrition facts labels for added sugar, salt, and fats. Look for whole grains and fiber in breads and cereals. Try adding more fruits and vegetables to your meals and snacks. And remember, calcium is really important. Look for low-fat and fat-free products. When you can, try to cook and eat together as a family. It is important and fun family time. And lastly, we all need a lot of exercise. Growing kids should get at least an hour a day. And it's great for everyone when parents join in the fun. You and your family can make choices that work for you. You can paint your own picture of a healthy life. I'll see you at the park.